Hanifa, and I'm your host. This is a space where we turn truth into dialogue and dialogue into change. Hello and welcome to the second episode of Lily TV, flagship program of Water Lily Foundation, a youth-led organization with over 4 years of experience in community impact and development. Our sole mission is to foster a healthier, informed, and climate-resilient society. Let's take a look at this video when we return. I'll introduce to you our guest and our topic for discussion.
The addiction started when I was probably like 12. 3 or 4 months into my addiction, my lungs collapsed. They rushed me into Great Ormond Street and put me on a life support machine.
As soon as Freddie started secondary school, he said he felt like he needed to smoke spice to fit in with his older group of friends.
I had to kind of do it, otherwise I was seen as like weak.
It was an addiction that nearly killed him.
Someone put a line under his armpit into his chest to drain the fluid off his lungs, and then it just, all hell went loose. They rushed him to another department upstairs where they induced a coma.
Dealers swap out THC for spice because it's much, much cheaper to manufacture. But spice is much more addictive than cannabis and can have some really horrific side effects like seizures, kidney issues, psychosis, suicidal thoughts, passing out. It's really, really unpleasant if it goes wrong.
And I had to learn how to walk again, I had to learn how to eat again, talk again. It took me like maybe 3 or 4 weeks to learn how to walk again.
Even though he'd been in and out of hospital after smoking the spice, Freddie said that he would still want to go back to it.
He didn't realise what he'd gone through. He'd come out of it, and then a week or two, gone straight back to it.
When I had that toke, I never looked back. I couldn't look back. That high was so powerful. As soon as I got out of the coma, I was straight back on it.
Have you ever had to steal to pay for a vape?
There was one time I stole £5 from my dad. When something went missing, you know, I'd be the first one to get blamed. It ruined my relationship with my dad. It really started to make me depressed, and it made me go back into the cycle even harder. I was selling my clothes, I was selling my shoes, my hats.
Dealers are also advertising these pens on social media platforms like TikTok, where it's easy to target young people.
The toilets are filled with all of the kids. They're doing it in the bathrooms and going to lesson high.
And like in the middle of the school day?
In the middle of the school day, literally in the morning.
We wanted to see just how easy it was to use social media to buy one of the vapes that Freddie had. So we sent an undercover reporter to pick one up.
Hi, yeah, thanks. Is it there? Thank you, thanks.
We have a drug test kit here, kindly sent to us from the University of Bath, which helps us see whether there's spice in our vape or not. A couple of these drops onto this tiny little filter paper here, and then we slot it in our machine. When we secure it, turn it on. If we have spice, the lights will come up flashing red. So in the end, this does have spice in it. It shows just how easy it is for kids to get their hands on it, take a puff, and maybe end up in hospital.
It was really sad, like, telling my dad about it. The drugs, like, they took all of the pain away. Whereas when I opened up to my dad about it, I kind of, like, regained my light.
And these bottles, they kill kids.
Welcome back. Today our topic for discussion is illicit drug use in northern Ghana, and my guest is beautifully seated. And my guest is Pearl Rufkata Saidu Brima. She is an BMCHB candidate at the University for Development Studies and a trained physician assistant with strong interest in public health and behavioral medicine. She is passionate about health education, promoting informed decision-making, and raising awareness of the link between mental health, addiction, and community well-being in low-resource settings. Welcome to Water Lily TV.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to be here.
Of course.
Thank you, Lily TV. Thank you, team, for having me.
You look good.
Thank you. You as well.
And nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
First off, can you tell us what illicit drug use is all about?
Okay, so illicit drug use has to do with any illegal substance that, in fact, any individual takes, basically.
Okay.
So it has to do with taking in of illegal substances, basically.
Okay. And to begin with, how will you describe the current illicit drug use in northern Ghana? How will you describe it?
Well, Looking at illicit drug use in northern Ghana, one would realize that the situation is uprising.
Of
In
course.
fact, it's more of a public health and social concern, especially among the youth.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation we all should be interested in because we're talking about the youth having increasing accessibility to these substances as well as normalization of taking them. Yes, and so I think it's a conversation every individual should be interested in having.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lately we've seen the storm of Black Maria in Tamale here and how they were able to clamp down on people using these drugs. I personally, I didn't know that was how the drug use was. So Black Maria stormed Tamale and started pulling people out.
Exactly.
That was when I got to realize that the thing
Exactly.
is really
Exactly.
serious.
It appears hidden until you see some of these measures being
Yeah.
put in place, and then you realize that we are really in for a much bigger problem.
I
And
was
so
I was
everyone,
shocked.
yes, yes, everyone needs to be interested in this conversation because you know it mostly affects young people.
Yeah.
Yes, they are the vulnerable group, and then I mean they are future leaders also, and
Yeah.
so it's important to have these conversations and then try to find ways and means of curbing it.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, what are some of the most common drugs used in the northern part?
Well, the most accessible substance usually is cannabis, popularly called weed. Some
Yeah.
people say kush, marijuana. Yes.
Sweet,
Then,
sweet leaves. Yeah.
in Tamale here, there's a substance called volley. I don't know whether I've mentioned it rightly, but it has to do with brewing of weed and then adding some kind of gin to it. Yeah, some people also abuse alcohol. Then we have tramadol. Then recently there's been the surge of this red.
Red.
Yes, I think that's tapendadol with carisoprodol. It's a mixture of these two opioids, synthetic opioids. Yes, and then also we have shisha, and then some people even inhale glue just to
That was
get
what
the
I.
high. Yes, yes. So these are some of the common substances that the youth ever with lately. Yes.
It's really it's really a problem.
It is. It is.
And my next question: why do you think drug use is becoming a growing concern in the region?
I think it's becoming a growing concern because if if you look at the trajectory, it focuses on the youth, young people. We're talking about erosion of human capital. We have people who are very smart in school, people who are, I mean, great in terms of craftsmanship, in terms of handiworks and all that. And such people, when they are exposed to drugs, I mean, of course, you know
Yeah.
that once you are you get exposed to these substances, one of the commonest complication is addiction, and then the sequelae continues. And so, with all that, I mean, being said, such individuals may not really perform in terms of academics and as well as may not be able to perform in their workplaces, right? Then we're also concerned about our already fragile health system in northern Ghana. We don't even have,
We don't have.
I mean, the healthcare capacity, you know, to cushion these things and the complications that they come with. We're talking about chronic kidney diseases, we're talking about heart diseases whatsoever. We don't really have the capacity. Talk about rehab facilities. I cannot count a single rehab
Rehab
facility,
facility.
yes, within the Northern Belt. As far as I think it's in Wa that we have Bahas Foundation and all
Yeah,
that.
who is
Uh-huh.
also trying.
Exactly, but even Bahas still needs, I mean, a lot of
A
work
lot
needs
of
to be
work.
done over
Yeah.
there. Yes, so these are some of the concerns, I mean, that we should have in Northern Ghana when it comes to illicit drug use. Yeah.
What are some of the factors pushing young people in northern Ghana to engage in illicit drug use?
Miss Hanifa, there are a lot of factors, right? I would start with peer influence, social media influence. You have a group of friends and they've normalized illicit drug use. Once you go out with them to parties, it becomes normal to take shisha, it becomes normal to try cannabis.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you haven't tried before, but everybody
You'll
is
be
taking it and
curious
it's
to
fine.
try.
Yeah. And worst of it, for the social media influence, I've realized that, you see, most of our young people, they adore the influencers, they adore various artists. It's quite unfortunate. I came across a video some few days back of an influencer who was blowing cannabis
Can
on his
imagine.
live. Yeah, it was, I mean, of course, it's normal to him, he's blowing it. And I'm just wondering the number of young people who may have come across such a video
And they are
and may
looking up
have,
to him.
yes, put it at the back of their minds that, oh, this is normal, this is
Yeah.
fine, or let me try it. Yeah, so these are some of the factors I mean, influence illicit drug use. Then to talk of unemployment, most of our young people aren't employed. You'd have someone completing a 4 year program in the
Program.
university, colleges of education. You know what's all that? They come out and they are not, they do not have a secure future. Okay, they are worried about their futures, their financial stability. A lot just comes in, and such people may even tend to be depressed. But
Yeah.
because they may not really have mental health support, some of them may go into substance abuse, and this is where the problem actually stems from. Yeah,
Just to
just to mention
just
a
to
few.
clear their mind of whatever they
Exactly.
are thinking.
Exactly. And then again, I also realized that some of them actually get involved with the drugs because they just want to make an income. And so if you realize that young people purchase these drugs, you can procure them and then you start selling just to be able to make
Yeah.
ends meet. And at the end of the day, you may end up trying it. Of course, you are selling it,
Yeah.
so you
So
want
you
to
want
try
to
and
try
yeah, so they'll be able to tell that this
so
one gives the higher better than this one.
yeah.
And that may also lead you to an addiction.
Someone once said that it comes with a lot of profit. So
Okay,
okay,
yes.
moving on. How is illicit drug use affecting families and communities in northern Ghana?
I feel so sorry for most families. I feel so sorry for most families. The thing is, it causes issues of mistrust among family members and their wards. You know, because your ward tells you he's going to school, and then you end up finding him among his peers somewhere doing whatever he's doing with illicit drugs. That becomes a problem. We're talking about financial strain on families.
Yeah.
Some in fact when a person becomes addicted to illicit drugs, one of the most common things you realize is that they are not able to explain their cash flow. So like they have an amount of money but they don't know what they
They've
use the
used
said
to.
money's for, right?
Moving on to our next question. What impact does drug abuse have on the crime and security in the region?
For security, you know, once a person becomes addicted to substance, the next thing he or she thinks about is to continue fueling the addiction. And so most of these victims
Yeah.
tend to violence, petty thefts, crime within the communities. Um, they'll start picking, I mean, pickpockets, they start
Yeah.
stealing little things, gets into the market. A woman is hanging her bag of cash trying to sell, and they pick it because they want to be able to procure the substance to continue whatever they are doing.
And they'll do whatever to get
Exactly.
money.
Another thing is that they tend not to respect authority. Yes, they tend not to respect because of course, once you become addicted, right, it's like you have a chronic brain injury.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your thought process, your decision making process, your impulse control. And so, as instances where you shouldn't even be violent, that is where you
You'll be
become violent.
violent. Yeah.
Yes. And then they tend to feel, because of the high, they feel they are on top of the world and they do not respect authority. And that in itself is a problem to security, a threat to security.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is why when the Black Maria came into Tamale Metropolis, everyone was actually happy
Charlie,
about it. Yeah,
yeah.
because Charlie, they didn't give. But I'll still talk about something. Let's move on.
Okay, now let's take a look at the health and physiological effects. I'm looking at that. What are some of the major health consequences of illicit drug use?
Mental health disorders.
Ma'am.
Yes, mental health disorders. You take in substance. In fact, you'd have immediate and the long term complications coming in. But I'm just going to cram everything together.
Yeah.
You can have substance induced psychosis. You can have anxiety and anxiety disorders coming in. And there are even cases of schizophrenia from substance abuse, like substance abuse, chronic substance abuse. We're talking about having liver impairments, especially if you're someone interested in the synthetic opioids. You know, the opioids, right? They have a certain therapeutic dosage, but most of the young people who abuse substances, you realize that they take very high doses.
Yeah.
You have tramadol as high as 225, and these boys and girls are taking about 4 to 5 pills just at once. And they don't even, some of them don't even take it they don't just ingest the pills at once. They mix it with other let me say substances. Yes,
Yeah.
caffeine containing drinks, others with phosphoric acid. Like it's just a lot for the liver to metabolize, and then over time you would have liver impairments and issues. Then of course when your liver starts having issues, you think about the heart, you think about the kidneys. Most of them take only these how do you call it, frizzling drinks. I don't want to mention
Yeah,
brand
yeah, yeah.
names, but they take frizzling drinks, they mix these things and take. They do not even take water. Some of them even forget to take water. They get dehydrated. Acute kidney injuries, chronic kidney injuries definitely will set in at the long run. So there are so many health complications that can actually come in with the use of illicit drugs.
Okay, my next question is, how important is mental health support in tackling drug addiction?
Oh, Miss Hanifa, um, talk of mental health support, right? I usually would say that mental health support is like the central dogma of managing illicit drug use because these people usually struggle silently with addiction. That is the main focus, addiction, right? And there's a part of the brain, we call it the reward center,
Yeah.
releases dopamine, mesolimbic system, right? And it's like the reward center. So whatever you do, probably if you eat and you like the food, it kind of you kind of feel like doing it the next time. So you keep on doing it to feel good, right? Pleasurable and
Yeah.
all that. And so these centers, when you are exposed to substance at a long run, right? You influence these pathways, and at the end of the day, your body keeps telling you to go on taking it, and that is where the addiction comes in. And so once you get addicted, you would need psychological support, like psychological therapy, and you also need behavioral therapy. So you cannot just see an addict and assume, oh, this person is a criminal. You are not supposed to smoke weed. You are smoking weed. I'm going to lock you in jail. But you're not really looking at the mental health aspect of it. Because at the end of the day, when you lock me, it comes out, then what happens? We're talking about a lot of things happening in the person's brain.
Yeah.
So this is where I would love for everyone to look at illicit drug use and how we can curb the problem in its entirety. It isn't just about criminalizing it, but we should actually look at the mental health support aspect. And we should endeavor as individuals, civil society organizations, for government of Ghana, Ghana Health Service,
Yeah.
everyone should be interested
Yeah.
in looking at the mental health aspect of it because without it, then this is a lost war.
Of
Right.
course. Hmm. Talking of government, now let's talk about government and institutional responses. What efforts are the government and relevant agencies making to address illicit drug use?
Okay, I think over the years, the government has tried. We have institutions like the Narcotic Control Commission, NACOC.
Okay.
We have institutions like the FDA, the Pharmacy Council, and together they've been trying. Talk of the NACOC, for example. They are into the monitoring of drug trafficking, and seizure of illicit drugs.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think over the years they've been able to do, quite a few rounds and all that. But my question keeps, like, I keep asking, have how able has NACOC been able to penetrate our communities? Because
Yeah.
if you look at this issue, the way, in fact, the rate at which it's rising in our rural areas is appalling. And again, talk of the FDA, right? Together with the Pharmacy Council, they've come out with some legal framework and policies with regards to prescription drugs. For example, the synthetic opioids like the tramadol and all
Yeah,
that. And you don't just, ideally, you shouldn't just walk into a pharmacy
and start.
empty-handed and then you just ask for it and then you are
Yeah.
given. It's supposed to be a prescription drug.
Yeah.
But we realize that unfortunately, most people just go to the pharmacies and these drugs are offered them. You even have chemical shops. Chemical shops, ideally, per the legal framework, shouldn't have access
To
to
some of
these
the.
opioid, yes,
Yeah.
medications, but they do, unfortunately. And so, yes, the government is trying. They've made some positive impact, but I think that they can do more with regards to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking of FDA, you see, some time ago they also came out with a law that celebrities should stop advertising alcoholic beverages. Just
Yeah.
like what you were talking about, the influencer
Mm-hmm.
smoking
Yeah.
shisha or whatever that it was.
Yes. Yes. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I think
In
I.
order for people that look up to these celebrities, for them not to also engage in taking alcohol and do stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But the problem I have with that is it looks to me as if such campaigns, right, awareness campaigns, are usually concentrated in the urban areas. I mean, what happens to my brother in some village
Yeah.
up somewhere,
In Salikiri.
Yes, in northern Ghana, that
Yeah.
becomes the focus of, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And then again, let me add that the Ghana Police Service also have been doing quite well. I think the
Yeah.
Black Maria,
Yeah.
yeah, they've done so well in
They really
Tamale,
don't know.
yeah, metropolis in terms of
Yeah.
trying to, punish these people and all. But like I said, you punish and then what happens? You
Hey.
would need to look at the mental health support part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on, what role should local authorities and traditional leaders also play in combating drug abuse?
Yeah, so the local authorities and traditional leaders, I think they have a huge role to play. Like, you see, before we started the conversation, I was saying that this should actually be like a collective effort.
Yeah.
Everybody should be involved when it comes to illicit drug use. So that communities and traditional leaders they can work together to reducing the stigma. Traditional rulers, especially when it comes to recovering users that have undergone rehab and they are back to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, such people can be asked to lead certain beautiful campaigns, within the community, just to try to put them back into society, to let people appreciate the fact that this person is healed and is here, to guide the younger ones so as for them not to also, go astray as they
Yeah.
had gone in the past.
Yeah.
The communities can also set up some kind of skill training sessions for young people. I mentioned that unemployment is one of the major factors that actually fuels illicit drug use among young people. And so when these things are done, skills training is done, you empower them. Most of them get some crafts, handiworks to do, and then we try to reduce as much as possible their interest in being involved in drugs. Yeah. Another thing we can do also within the community is to intensify our campaigns.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to intensify our campaigns. See,
Yeah.
most of the campaigns done do not actually meet the realities of young people. I mean, they look so formal, so I don't know what to say, but it just doesn't meet their realities.
Yeah.
And so some of them do not, aren't even interested in it. But when you go down to their level and try to let them understand that you understand what they are going through and you understand the situations that have pushed them into whatever they are into, then you are kind of making a headway towards, Kevin. Yeah.
Okay, we are almost through, but let's take a look at the media and public awareness as well. What role can the media and community radio stations play in reducing drug abuse?
I would mention
Ladies, with you.
again that the media can intensify their campaigns,
Yeah,
education and all that. Education can actually be done in local dialects because it's not everyone who speaks English.
yeah,
I wish so much that I could speak the local dialect on the TV, but I'm sure going forward that will be
yeah. We
done,
will.
yes,
Yeah,
so that we let people understand that of course we do understand what you are going through, but
yeah,
this and this and this are the complications that can come in at the long run, and trying to look for how do you call it, how trying to look for a short term safe haven isn't really the goal. We should try to tackle whatever problem it is that you are going through from the root cause, and then make you a whole person, make you a beautiful person as you are. These things, it can affect anybody at all. And it's important that we usually would get someone to talk to. And so radio stations can go on and then also let the public be aware that, well, we have these agencies, or we have these people who are interested in helping you if you have any mental health issue needs that you of course you need someone to talk to on.
yeah,
Yeah, so those available spaces should be made, education
yeah,
should be done, and then yeah, and again, then again, the media should also control the content it actually puts out there. Sometimes there are so many misconceptions. People go on radio and just talk about these things, and oh, this one people say it's not good, but it's good if you take it. This and
yeah.
no, 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 no. We should always try. Let's be on the moral trajectory. Whatever it is, let's make sure we do the right thing.
That's correct.
And I think that's it.
Okay. Now let's take a look at the solutions and way forward. How can a parent and a guardian identify early signs that a young person might be using drugs?
Well, there are so many things as a parent or guardian you can pick up. I'll talk about behavioral science, right?
Yeah.
So you would realize that when your young person or ward is involved in such, and he or she tends to have behavioral changes. There will be changes in sleep pattern. You'd have he or she being unusually violent. Yeah, some of them may even, they kind of withdraw from things that initially they found very pleasurable. And these things, I'm sure it rings a bell to someone and you'd want to look into
Yeah.
it. Then to talk about the physical signs, some of them, every time their eyes are red, see that their eyes are red every time. And when you try to ask them, oh, Charlie, why your eyes are red? Oh, no, it's nothing. And the way and manner they talk to you, you
Yeah.
know that something is just off about this person.
Yeah.
Yes, and these are some of the things you should look at. And then again, talk about financial instability. If you have someone who was working, who was financially okay, and then all of a sudden you realize that they're always complaining about being broke, and when you ask them what they use their finances for, they cannot tell. Then you need to start asking yourself that, could it be that he or she is addicted to drugs? Some of them are even
Yeah.
addicted to alcohol. They go out, they spend so much, and they cannot even recollect where such monies went.
Of
And so
course.
that is also something that you can pick up too. Yeah.
Okay. Before we go, let me ask, what message would you like to share with the youth in northern Ghana regarding illicit drug use?
Yeah, so I just want to tell the youth that illicit drug use isn't the way to go. Every individual has potential, and it's quite unfortunate. We know that in northern Ghana, it's a lot. There are no jobs. You do not have certain opportunities as compared to certain areas in Ghana.
Yeah.
But I just want to encourage them that if you're having issues of unemployment, you can still find a way to get in a trade. You can learn a skill. Like I said, everybody has potential. Doing drugs will give you a short term safe haven, but then at the long run, you end up causing so many problems for yourself. I just spoke about you probably having liver issues, you have heart issues, you have chronic kidney disease, and all that. We are so worried about your health. And so once you think that you need someone to talk to, because I know this is where sometimes the problem comes from. You can reach out, and then if you're watching this right now and you have you have mental health issues, you need someone to talk to, you can send a DM, right? We'll get to you, we'll reach you, and we can take it from there. And I just want to say that you are awesome, you are amazing. Choose yourself every day, and everything will be fine. Yes.
You are awesome. You are amazing. Choose yourself. Well, your last question. Our last question. If you have the opportunity to influence policy directly, what's one major policy would you like to tackle when it comes to illicit drug use in Northern Ghana?
To change their trajectory, right? We shouldn't only look at the punitive aspect of it, but we should also embrace the mental health support aspect of it. Because, like I said, once a person becomes addicted, we're talking about chronic brain injury to certain areas of the brain, your decision making process, thought process, your impulse control, your reward, areas of the brain, everything is affected. And so you need psychological and then behavioral therapy for the person to become whole again. And so we should look at that. And initially when you spoke about the the Black Maria,
Yeah.
I made mention of the fact that there was something I wanted to add. So this is it. Like Black Maria came, I'm sure they made some arrests, but did we really consider the mental health picture of these individuals? We should have looked into it. What forced such persons, or what influenced them into taking the substance in the first place? What influenced Hajia to go into the business? Hajia may not necessarily be a wicked person, but Hajia may be looking for a source of livelihood.
Yeah.
And so these are the conversations we should be having. It shouldn't always be about every day, oh, a weed smoker is here, this one is here. Then because if you look at it, people are aware now that it is criminal to have some of these substances. But at the end of the day, do we offer them mental health support? I think it's something we should really look at. The government should prioritize that. We should have more rehab facilities. We should have more psychiatric hospitals. In fact, the already existing primary healthcare facilities, we should integrate mental health care into these facilities. And I think if we do that, we have done something amazing, and then this problem, we're dealing with it, in fact, as we should. Yes.
Nice having you and nice passing through. We really appreciate you coming for us to have this discussion. Well, all too soon, this is where we draw the curtains for today's discussion. My name is Hashim Hanifa, your host, and this beautiful place we are having this discussion is Sendabi Hotel. If you want to get in touch with us, you can call us or WhatsApp us through this contacts. That is it for today. See you on our next episode. Bye.